Hello and welcome to the November 9th edition of Speedway Digest, Thursday Night Thunder, the most hardcore motorsport program on the internet. This episode 265 of the series and the last one of 2023. I'm your host, Adam Jason Sinclair, and tonight on the program we'll be wrapping up 2023, previewing 2024, and discussing whatever other motorsports news pops into the conversation.
A points lead that has changed hands 5 times in the past 6 races signals just how tight the racing has been in Top Fuel during the end of the regular season and the NHRA countdown to the championship playoffs. Steve Torrence went back into the lead in Las Vegas, and heading into this weekend's 58th annual In-N-Out Burger NHRA Finals, the final race of the season in the 2023 NHRA Camping World Drag Racing Series at legendary In-N-Out Burger Pomona Drag Strip, he hopes to stay there for just one more race. Torrence has been impressively consistent all season in his 11,000 horsepower Capco contractor / Toyota dragster, never straying far from the lead. He's never been lower than third in points this season, but Doug Coletta and Leah Pruitt are close behind. Coletta trails by just 15 points, and Pruitt is 34 points back as an epic final weekend awaits. Looking for his 5th World Championship and 5th in 6 years, the talented Texan is fired up for what could be an incredible finish in Pomona.
Austin Prock in Top Fuel, Cruz Pendragon Funny Car, Greg Anderson Pro Stock, and Andy Smith in Pro Stock Motorcycle won last year's event, while Brittany Force in Top Fuel, Ron Capps in Funny Car, Eric Anders in Pro Stock, and Matt Smith in Pro Stock Motorcycle claimed world championships. The race will be broadcast on Fox Sports 1, including eliminations at 4 p.m. Eastern Sunday, as the season closes in style. Since 1984, the NHRA Finals have been where champions are crowned, and this closes out the 21-race season and 6-event playoffs. A Pomona victory would ensure a championship for Torrence and his team, and remarkably, if that happens, it would be just the second win this season for the veteran. It's another nod to his consistency, as Torrence has advanced to the semifinals, or better, 13 times in 2023 and been to the finals 6 times. But Torrence knows his work is cut out for him, trying to keep Coletta and Pruitt, both seeking their first world title, at bay. Mike Salinas and Justin Ashley also remain in contention for the loaded field, which means the eventual championship may have to be close to perfect on Championship Sunday.
It's a remarkably tight field in Funny Car, with Matt Hagan leading Bob Tasca III by 15 points and Robert Height by only 17 points, heading into the must-see finale that could come down to the final pass of the season. In Pro Stock, Enders is closing in on a 6th world title and her 4th in 5 years. She holds a 114-point lead over Greg Anderson and could clinch a championship with a strong qualifying performance in Pomona. Pro Stock Motorcycles' Gage Herrera has enjoyed a historic season, will have a chance to earn his first world championship in qualifying to start the weekend.
It all adds up to a historic weekend that no fan should miss. If that isn't enough, champions will also be crowned in the NHRA Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series, as well as in action the Junior Drag Racing Shootout, the Walking Tall PT Cruiser Wheel Stander, driven by Nitro Mike, and autograph sessions, including one with legendary Don the Snake Prudhomme and Ron Capps. Race fans at In-N-Out Burger Pomona Drag Strip can enjoy the special pre-race ceremonies that celebrate each of the drivers, racing for the prestigious Wally on Sunday, and that includes the Sealmaster Track Walk. The final can't-miss experience of any NHRA event is the Winner's Circle celebration on Sunday, after racing concludes, where fans are invited to congratulate the event winners and 2023 World Champs. Fans are also invited to Nitro Alley stage this all weekend, as the Entertainment Hub hosts Nitro School, meet and greets, influencer interviews, and much more. As always, fans get a pit pass to the most powerful and century-filled motorsports attraction on the planet, and can see their favorite teams in action and servicing their hot rods between rounds, get autographs from their favorite NHRA drivers, and more.
The NHRA Camping World Drag Racing Series qualifying will feature 2 rounds at 12 and 3 p.m. Pacific Time on Friday, and the final 2 rounds of qualifying on Saturday at 12 and 3 p.m. Final eliminations are scheduled for 11 a.m. Pacific Time on Sunday. Television coverage includes qualifying action on FS1 at 2 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, leading into eliminations at 4 p.m. Eastern. To purchase tickets to the 58th annual In-N-Out Burger NHRA Finals, fans can visit www.nhra.com/tickets All children 12 and under will be admitted free in the general admission area with a paid adult. Fans can get closer to the action with a Top Eliminator Club experience, offering the best seats in the house and a premium experience, as well as a members-only hospitality center, complimentary food and beverage, driver appearances, and a premium view, and more.
With the Formula One Las Vegas Grand Prix fast approaching, Game Time at www.gametime.co, the leading app for last-minute tickets, has released updated ticket pricing information, and based on pricing, anticipation for race weekend is very high. Currently, the lowest priced 3-day pass for the event is available for $1,387, including all taxes and fees. The top price seats are going for $4,613 for the weekend pass. Now, I think that's a little steep, but it is a Las Vegas weekend, and you get what you pay for. So I think it'll be a really great event. From the amount of press releases I've gotten the past week, which I haven't even posted half of, it's going to be a really, really busy and event-filled weekend of racing there coming up on I think it's next weekend now. So it'll be interesting. I tried to get a press thing out there. I could have gotten tickets, but I wouldn't be able to get transportation or a hotel room out there, and that is pretty expensive in and of itself. So no Formula One race in Las Vegas for me this year, which is unfortunate, but it would have been interesting. I know they've got a lot of stuff planned out there. As I was talking a little bit earlier on other shows, I think Max Verstappen probably has the points lead all wrapped up even before they get to Las Vegas. But I think that it'll be interesting to see how the racers go. It might be fun to see it go. I know it's supposed to be cold out there. They said that the estimated temperature is 12 degrees Celsius, which is below 50. It's going to be a little chilly out there. It might even be colder than that. So how do you think it's going to be at the first Formula One Las Vegas Grand Prix? What's your opinion of the race?
Well, I think there's definitely going to be a good crowd. I've seen a lot of people talking about it. I don't know. I think it'll be interesting. And I see that on the schedule, they're already anticipating going back to Vegas for next year. So I think that's kind of a good sign. I don't know. I think they think that it's going to go pretty good. So I think it would be something interesting to see. But yeah, I don't know. I think that the tickets that have been sold and all that, I think is kind of speaking loud for them right now. And the fact that they anticipate going back next year, I think they're expecting a pretty good show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's definitely anticipating a pretty good show. And like I said, it's Las Vegas. They've got all different sorts of things going on there in addition to the race. They've got Sports Illustrated. There's got some stuff going on. They've got all different sorts of celebrities, including Shaquille O'Neal has a big thing planned out there. Of course, there's former drivers and current drivers who have experiences all over the place there. Heineken's going to have a huge involvement in the race. It is, of course, the Heineken Grand Prix. I believe Max Verstappen's going to be driving from the special Heineken livery for it. I did a little article about that about a week or so ago. So it'll be interesting. I still think it's overpriced, especially considering you can get into all sorts of pretty much any race in this country for less than the cost of the 3-day pass here. But it'll be interesting to see, and I think that the fact that they charge so much, you should get a little bit more for what you're getting, because you don't really get access to the garages at all. You don't get to see the drivers at all before or after the race unless you happen to see them walking by. In most cases, they'll have a huge security detail around them. So Formula One has their own issues. Formula One is an interesting thing. Formula One is the top of motorsports right now. It has been for quite some time. And the fact that they're taking full advantage of social media makes it a great thing for the sport and for the competitors and the fans. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to get to see much of the race next weekend. I don't really have a lot of stuff planned for next weekend, but we'll see how it goes. So hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's not as cold as what they're talking about right now, because they are talking about temperatures, again, at 12 degrees Celsius or lower. So it's going to be a little chilly. But it's always chilly out there in Las Vegas this time of year. Heck, I was out there this time of year last year. Actually, I was there about a week or so, just at 50, about 50 weeks ago now. So it was pretty awesome. I did get to see where they're going to have the paddock there. They've got almost all the work done. They've got a lot of last minute stuff, a lot of last minute construction going on in Las Vegas. But it'll be pretty cool to see. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I hope that it's a good race. I hope it's a clean race, and I hope next year the price goes down a teeny bit, at least for the grandstands. I know they're going to have a lot more grandstands next year. They've got a lot this year, but I'm not going to add more next year. I know they've had some sightline issues with some of the grandstands after they've reviewed them with the AI and all that have already been corrected. So that's really awesome that they've corrected them before the race. So you're actually be able to see some of the cars when they go by, as opposed to just having a few seconds. So that'll be neat. It'll be great, and hopefully it's a good race. Again, Max Verstappen has dominated this season, so it's pretty much a no-brainer that he'll do well. Lewis Hamilton has had a really good year as well. He did get disqualified from the U.S. Grand Prix. I'm sure he's going to come back at Las Vegas and remember that, and he's going to be ready to win in the United States. Who's your favorite going into the Las Vegas race next weekend?
I don't really know if I have a favorite myself, but from what I've been reading, it seems like people are torn between Verstappen and Hamilton. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. What about you?
Like I said, I'm pretty sure it'll come down to between Verstappen and Hamilton. That's a pretty good bet. Although there are a lot of other pretty good drivers in the field, so we'll see how it goes. Personally, I think it'd be great if Hamilton won. Although he does have some issues, it'd be great if he pulled ahead. It'd be great if he won, and it'll definitely give him something to fight for, since he was disqualified, like I said, from the U.S. Grand Prix. Verstappen has the sponsors behind him. He has momentum behind him, and hopefully he does really well as well. But like I said, I think it'd be cool if Hamilton won. I've always liked Lewis Hamilton. He's pretty cool. Let's go on to the next thing. Talk a little bit about the more open wheel racing. Talk about some IndyCar for a minute. The exclusive renewal period has begun for fans who purchased 3-day grandstand tickets to the 2023 Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg, presented by RP Funding. These customers will have until Monday, November 27th, excuse me, to renew their seats for the 2024 race weekend. General public sales will begin on Friday, December 1st at 10 a.m. Eastern. The 2024 festivities are set for March 8th through 10th and mark the 20th annual running of the event in downtown St. Petersburg. The weekend will be headlined by the NTT IndyCar Series season opening race for the 14th time, and will also feature high-speed open-wheel competition from Indy NXT by Firestone, USF Pro 2000 presented by Continental Tire, and USF 2000 presented by Continental Tire Development Series. New in 2024, exciting sports car action from IMSA VP Racing Sports Car Challenge joins the weekend schedule. Further weekend activities and entertainment elements will be announced at a later date.
Renewal customers purchasing 3-day grandstand seats will receive complimentary Firestone paddock passes, which allows fans to get up close to the NTT IndyCar Series cars and drivers during the race weekend. For an additional $25 or $100, renewal purchasers can upgrade their experience with a Champions Club or Champions Club Plus membership, offering extra benefits including opportunity to participate in Sunday's pre-race grid walk, a chance to win a 2-seater IndyCar ride on the track, and more. The Champions Club Plus experience includes all Champions Club benefits, plus a pit pass providing pit lane access at select times during the weekend. Quantities are limited for both enhanced membership offers. Renewals will be available online at gpstpete.com, with pricing starting at $135 for reserved 3-day grandstand seats. For all ticket pricing and 2024 event information and news, visit gpstpete.com or follow Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg, presented by RP Funding, on social media using hashtag FirestoneGP.
In its first year of competition, the CrowdStrike Racing by Algarve Pro Racing APR team turned an impressive performance in the IMSA WorldTech Sports Car Championship LMP2 class. The program is ready for a successful encore as they start the racing season at the Rolex 24 Daytona, which zooms on the horizon. In 2023, Crowdstrike Racing by APR won 2 races, including the season-ending Petit Le Mans, and finished second in the class championship. For 2024, George Kurtz will welcome Cullen Braun to the Crowdstrike Racing by APR lineup for the full 7-race schedule. The two are longtime teammates, having won the LMP2 Pro-Am classes at the 24 Hours of Le Mans this year, including along with James Allen, and recently captured the Fanatec GT World Challenge America Pro-Am title.
The goals for the CrowdStrike Racing by APR IMSA program in 2024 are simple. Repeat as winner of the IMSA Michelin Endurance Cup and secure a second straight Jim Truman Award for Kurtz as the series' leading bronze-rated driver in LMP2 and a return trip to Le Mans in 2025. Winning the class championship is the big prize. The chase for that begins at Daytona with the Rolex 24 scheduled for January 27th through the 28th. CrowdStrike Racing by APR will soon begin preparations for the 2024 IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship season, which opens with the above-mentioned Rolex 24 at Daytona at the Daytona International Speedway.
Looking forward to Daytona this next year. I think it'll be a pretty good race. The field is definitely huge. I got, I believe, 62 cars for the Daytona Rolex 24 this year. We're going to go ahead and open the season after our off-season break. We'll go ahead and open it on the 20th of January to talk a little bit about the Rolex 24, do some pre-race coverage. Might actually have a little bit of drivers for the Roar before the Rolex 24, I'm hoping. Got my fingers crossed. So it should be really good. Are you a race car driver, crew chief, pit member, track owner? Maybe you're just a huge fan of the sport. Contact us to get your spot on the show. After all, you deserve your 15 minutes of fame, and we'd love to hear from you. Let's go ahead and talk about some NASCAR news. Of course, this past weekend was the final race of the season at Phoenix, and Team Penske's Ryan Blaney drove Mustang to its second straight NASCAR Sprint Cup Series title by winning the championship race at Phoenix Raceway, capping a weekend that saw Ford claim all 3 of NASCAR's major touring titles for the first time in history. Blaney got the job done by finishing second in the race and beating fellow Championship 4 drivers Kyle Larson and William Byron, who ended up right behind him in 3rd and 4th, respectively.
The race came down to a 31-lap dash to the finish. Blaney restarted 6th while Larson was 3rd and Byron 5th, but the Team Penske driver passed Byron 3 laps later and then battled Larson for the next 8 circuits before finally getting past him on lap 292 of the 312-lap event. From that point on, he was able to maintain his advantage and finish second to race winner Ross Chastain. For Blaney, it capped off a 10-race playoff season that saw him win twice, Talladega and Martinsville, and finish the last 6 races with an average finishing position of 4th.
Ben Rhodes kicked off the trio of championships by winning the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race Friday night after 4 overtime restarts, and then Cole Custer followed suit on Saturday as he won his first NASCAR Xfinity championship in a dramatic overtime finish that saw him go from 3rd to 1st in the space of 1 lap. The 3rd weekend championship sweep marks the first time a manufacturer has accomplished that feat since 2001, and the 6th time in NASCAR history. Now, I know you got a chance to watch a lot of the racing this past weekend. What do you think about it?
I thought it was good. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was good, but I almost wonder if, I don't know. I've seen a lot of people that say that like Daytona should be their finale track, and I kind of think that would be kind of cool. So while the racing was good, I do think even if they maybe changed up championship tracks every season, like maybe picked a new track to end the season at, I don't know. But I do think the racing was good, and I do think that, you know, it's nice to see new people win championships. I know Denny Hamlin really thought he was going to win something, and I've seen a lot of people kind of torn on that one, but it was good. It was actually a good race.
Did you see any of the? I know we talked a little bit earlier about the comments that Dan Patrick made about NASCAR. Did you get a chance to see any of that?
No, I meant to watch that, and then I completely forgot to watch it. But it's still saved, and I am going to look at it because, I actually don't mind Danica Patrick, and I do think she made NASCAR kind of interesting. She really did. So I will definitely be watching that.
For those of you who didn't see that, I actually watched just a synopsis of it, and I'll go ahead and rewatch it. I'll also be posting it to the Speedway Digest Thursday Night Thunder Facebook page. She did an interview about NASCAR. She made some really good points. Basically, first off, she talked about the fact that the races are all too long. Even in Phoenix, which is a 312 mile race because of the kilometer thing, that's a little long. Definitely the Daytona is 500 miles. Coca-Cola in Charlotte 600 miles. They're long races. You can tune the beginning, forget everything about it, tune in maybe an hour or two later, and then wait until the end and tune in later, even later still. At some point, you might miss a little bit, but the odds are pretty good that you won't miss a lot. So NASCAR has some fundamental issues in that regard. She also mentioned the fact that there aren't really as many people to root for at NASCAR. Granted, there are like 40 drivers you can root for, 36 now, weekly guys, but they're not exactly named drivers. Brian Blaney is a little bit. Kyle Larson is a little bit. Kyle Larson, mostly because of what he did. He had issues a few years ago that got him some of the fame that not necessarily the best coverage, but any coverage is coverage nonetheless. But there's a lot of drivers in NASCAR. They just don't have the name recognition. They don't have facial recognition, and they don't have a fan base. So NASCAR to just work on that. It's the same with pretty much any other series. If you go to anywhere and you see these guys out in public, odds are pretty good that they'll just blend in. They'll disappear. You won't know who they are. It's been that way in racing for a long time, and that's not necessarily a good thing, especially considering they're trying to make these guys more important. Take, for example, people like Wayne Taylor Racing. When I was a teenager, probably 15, I saw Wayne Taylor and his two sons, Ricky and Jordan, at Disney World. No one had any clue who he was. Even my dad wasn't sure who he was. I wasn't sure who he was. I ended up going up to him and asking him, "Is Wayne Gardner?" For any of you who know any longtime race fans, you know Wayne Gardner was a professional motorcycle racer, also from South Africa. So it's easy to get that sort of stuff confused. But I'm pretty sure that I was the only one who went up to him and asked him all day. Now, that can be a good thing or it can be a bad thing. And for a racing series, they're trying to get people out there to have the faces meet the names. It's not a good thing at all. And like I said, they've had that problem for a long time in all racing series. So it's not an easy thing to fix, but they're working on it. And according to Danica, at least, NASCAR needs to work a heck of a lot harder. Now, she makes some really good points. And like I said, I'll go ahead and post that to the Speedway Digest Thursday Night Thunder page, probably this weekend. So you can check that out yourself. And you can comment on it and let me know how you feel. Whether you feel that NASCAR is doing a good job, heck, whether you feel that racing is doing a good job in putting these guys out into public. So there's some issues, there's some fundamental issues. We tried to cover them on the show in depth in the past few years, and we'll continue to cover them next year and in the future, I'm sure. So I also want to mention, since now we're on a little bit of a motorsports discussion, for those of you in South Florida, Channel 5, I'm sure other channels as well, has been talking about the P1 Motorsports Park, which they're starting to get some momentum for in Port St. Lucie. Now, it was a really good story that was on Channel 5 tonight about it, but it mentioned the fact that they are in an environmentally sensitive area. That's not exactly true. I've seen that area. It's sort of to call that environmentally sensitive it's iffy. It's a big field that's covered in cows more than anything else. So I think changing a cow pasture into a racetrack isn't a bad thing. But people are worried about water and all different sorts of things, which they normally worry about down here in Florida. But those people who are complaining about that obviously never went to Palm Beach National Raceway, which is located pretty much on the edge of the Everglades. But again, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with P1 Motorsports Park. They've talked about it a little bit in the past, Now it seems to be gaining a little bit more momentum. So and it's not that far from the house. It's probably about an hour away. So that would be awesome if they got it going. But we'll see how that goes in the future. I still am not happy that Palm Beach International Raceway closed. There's some great things going on out there. There's some great plans for the future. Some of those plans pretty much mirror what P1 Motorsports Park is thinking about doing. So be sure to check that out. Look up P1 Motorsports Park in your favorite browser. Look it up, see what you think about it. They do have a great mailing list now that you can sign up for, electronic mailing list that will give you information about the track as they move on and get stuff going. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully it's a good thing. So what exotic and exciting things are you going to be doing in the off season? What are you have any other races you're going to be looking forward to? You have any other big plans for the next couple of months?
The racing around here is kind of slowed down. Well, not really slowed down. I think everyone's pretty much done around here until spring. But no, nothing really cool to report. I'm sure I'll be racing around chasing my toddler. But other than that, no, just counting down to next season.
Well, that's a good enough plan, I suppose. Like I said, I'm not going to be doing very much until next January. I think we'll probably be going up to the road before the Rush 24, probably on the Saturday, because as I have an afternoon job now, it makes things a little more difficult getting away. So we're planning on going up there on Saturday, the 21st, or the 22nd rather, and we'll go up to the racetrack the following weekend. We'll have there on Friday, Saturday, and I believe I may be staying Sunday night as well, although that's probably subject to change as well. But we're up there for at least 2 nights for the Rolex 24 Daytona. That'll be pretty awesome. As I said, they got a really big field this year, and I'm hoping to get at least one driver for the series, although my connections in the IMSA paddock have gotten smaller over the past few years, because as these guys become more famous, they tend to forget that it's shows like this that help them get that high. So it is what it is. But I'm going to try and reach out to some of the normal guys who I normally reach out to, and reach out to some new guys as well, and see how that goes. I'm looking forward to the race. It's going to be a great race. Hopefully the weather's good, and hopefully everything works out. With that, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up for this year. It's been a great year, another great, amazing year of motorsports action here. I've had a great time talking about it with all you guys who are listening, and with Mykkal as well. Hopefully it's another great year next year. We'll be back on January 20th. Be sure to check out past episodes of Thursday Night Thunder, as well as the other shows on the Speedway Digest Radio Network at speedwaydigest.podbean.com. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get a lot of former Speedway Digest Radio Network guys on the show this year. I did try a teeny bit. Next year, I'll probably try again, and we'll see how that goes. You can check out the other shows you can check out this show on Facebook, again, by searching for Speedway Digest Thursday Night Thunder in the search bar, or by going simply to facebook.com/SD Thursday Night Thunder. I also invite you to read the articles covering all aspects of motorsports at speedwaydigest.com. I did put up some really good articles this past week. I do think that the one about Bubba Wallace was cool. The fact that he has the sponsorship from Columbia Sportswear and the new Luke Skywalker collection from Columbia. I did get a media kit from them. I really appreciate that. It was great. And hopefully all of you check out the Columbia Sportswear Luke Skywalker collection, especially if you're a fan of Star Wars. They've got some really awesome looking stuff there. In addition, if you're a fan of South Florida and who isn't, be sure to check out the latest news and information about our slice of paradise at my blog site for Warplum's Fantastic Finds. That can also be found on Facebook, on Twitter. The easiest way to go to Twitter is at PBHappening, or just at FootballPlums, FABORPLUMBS. And by heading to FootballPlums Fantastic Finds.wordpress.com. That's FABORPLUMBS Fantastic Finds.wordpress.com.
Thank you for listening, and we look forward to seeing you again on January 20th in the Thunderdome as we discuss the major issues in the world of modern auto racing.
Have a very happy holiday season, and we look forward to seeing you next year.